welcome everybody to Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's race number 3 of the MRC Cup Series. Back at it once again. We got my brother in the booth. It's Dylan Schwallenberg.
Hey, glad to be back. Yeah, I forgot where the vocal booth was, or the commentary booth, wherever the world I'm at. And my arms are a little bit red. My face has got some sunglasses marks on it, and I enjoyed Homestead a little bit too much. So, yeah, now we're back in Atlanta. This is one of my favorite racetracks, so I'm glad to be back for it. And we got Dane Stinson on the pole with RJ Reynolds, rounding out the front row.
Yeah, Dane Stinson laying down a heater here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Very fast track, but the tire wear is going to be pretty whack, as it usually is around here. Pedro Lucas bringing that No Limits machine up to P3. And Dick Hare Racing, who won last week, was Seth Cole. He got Jock the Cock in P4. And Emmy Scizzato rounding out the top 5. And then last week's winner, Seth Cole. I see him just down in the back over there.
It's hard to miss him.
It is very confusing. There he is.
That is a very noticeable car. You can definitely see it from the beach in Victory Lane. It was that bright. So, yeah, Seth Cole winning the race by a pretty decent margin. Rolled their dice correctly, and they just got it right. So, yeah, good on them. And they capped off the first 1.5 miler of the season and won that race. So, good on Seth and all that crew over there.
Yeah, very insane strategy call from that 52 to take that win, and they're starting next to the Daytona 250 winner Ryan Jasper. So we're going to see how they fare from their starting spot, see if they can maybe take one more each for that team, as we are pretty set to get underway here today at Atlanta. I imagine the command is coming any moment now. I'm sure we'll hear it.
Start your engines.
Oh, listen to it. There it is. So Dane Stinson is going to lead them off. RJ Reynolds right beside him. I couldn't remember what team Dane was on for a second. Gateway Racing. There we go. They're from St. Louis. They got the arch. That's why they're like that.
Yeah, the St. Louis boys running for Gateway Racing. Dane obviously having the quickest lap out of the two. And it's hard to say who really had a standout qualifying session. I see Joey Murphy up here in a really good run as well, up here in the top 10.
Yeah, so we'll take them through the field real quick as we get the starting lineup. We mentioned the front row of Dane Stinson and RJ Reynolds, Lucas and Dokkan in row 2. Scizzato, we mentioned P5. Harry Klein up there in 6th place. We didn't give him a shout yet. Roberto Crown Jr. looking very strong last week at Homestead, starting alongside Joey Murphy. Christian Vargas in the 00, Harry Klein's teammate for Revolution Racing. Rounding out in the top 10 there, and P9 with Matt Mitchell got pole last week in 10th place, but fell back super early on. We'll see if maybe they got more speed here today. See if you can get them. See if you can get a couple more drivers in before we take the green Schwal.
Yeah. Well, we got Kyler Sustry up here, Richard Johnson, who missed or not Daytona, but Homestead, and I don't have any more time to say anything because we're about to go green flag racing here. Dane Stinson's going to lead us to the green. And here we go.
And we are off and running. And one of the best ovals in North America. One of the best tracks ever for stock car racing. And we'll see how these drivers tackle it here today. We already got some 3-wide action in the middle of the field.
The high side might be a little bit tight on this cold racetrack. As it heats up, they'll start to warm into it, but you might see some guys tap the wall here and there. RJ Reynolds getting really, really close.
And you see we got a couple Brazilians on the charge here. Lucas Scizzato and Crown Jr. There's some international representation up here in the top 5. They've looked pretty strong early on in the season, all 3 of these drivers, especially Crown last week at the 1.5 miles.
25 in the wall in the back there.
That's Stephen Colon in the Chips Ahoy car. Probably going to have some right side damage there. Seth Cole and teammate Tess Tickle together there also. Oh, some Pebbles Jr.
really, really tight. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know how they didn't wreck. Pebbles held on to it really well, and so did Nunez.
Very, very tight racing early on. A lot of drivers getting caught up in the wall there. 4 wide here. A lot more room on the backstretch than coming out of the front stretch. It kind of squeezes, so That's why I see a lot of drivers hitting the wall on the high side. It's probably going to happen
What
here
lap are we
again.
on?
Lap 3?
Oh, lap 3.
Shock the
Wow.
cock getting in the wall, and you're going to see he's dropping through the field. Nice helicopter shot here.
Yeah, this is a little bit crazy this early in the race. I think even these guys forgot what lap it was, but up at the front, it's actually way more tame, which I'm actually surprised about. I thought these guys would be duking it out, but Skizzato and Lucas having a really clean fight between teammates. You really don't want to irk off your boss, so Skizzato's probably leaving a little extra room for the 21, but either way, it's still a nice fight. And oh, they're in the wall!
Crown Jr. Oh, he collects Murphy, and oh, that's going to be a big one. Oh, mostly avoided.
Oh!
Oh, no. Seth Cole into it. Last week's winner, Blake Warren. Oh, Cam Vanderhorst having horrible luck early on in this season. Also collected. We still have a race to the start-finish, though.
I was expecting that to be huge. That was only about 4 or 5 cars there, which everyone else in that pack did a great job avoiding those spinning cars at the top.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be way worse. As we see Emi Skizzato take the field back to the stripe as we are under the first caution. Our first one since Daytona. They kept it clean at Homestead, but just no way they could do it here at Atlanta, it seems, with the extremely tight racing that this track produces. So we'll see how exactly that all went down and see who all was collected and probably out of this one. So only 6 laps in, they're going to come into the pits, and we'll see how they shake out after that. Alright, taking a look at Roberto Crown Jr. We saw him in the wall. Let's see how he got there. Looks like he's top 4 wide. Let's see if he gets squeezed up in there. Looks like he gets off the corner well. Oh, Sustry.
Fitzwater pinched Sustry up into Mitchell, and then Crown just resulted in the effect from all that contact. So
And
he's going to smack the wall here and
just
right down into the 43.
And just the way this track is shaped, just he had nowhere else to go. The wall was just in his way. Collects Murphy, Gabriel Homo, Tristan Allen just barely avoiding it. Good of him to get on the brakes and out of that situation. And then the ricochet just propels at 3, gets him a bit sideways. Nunez almost gets into it. Oh, but Blake Warren just can't avoid it. That collects Vanderhorst and Seth Cole. Sweeney as well. Eric Rodriguez, Carlos Mendez might barely avoid it. But Vanderhorst gets collected again. Just horrible luck for that 24. Blowing an engine last week. And that seems to be the extent of it.
Yeah, the 88 and the 24 just barely getting clipped in those incidents and probably coming out with some way more significant damage than they should have. The 18 and the 77 coming away with almost nothing, though.
Yeah, so many unfortunate drivers in this situation. I mean, it really wasn't any of their fault. The drivers that caused it got away pretty clean. So I'm sure a lot of angry drivers are going to be in each other's faces after this one. As we'll see how the field shakes out after they get to the pits, and we'll get back going green. So we are back at Atlanta for our first restart. Hopefully not of many, but well, you just know how this goes. RJ Reynolds, he did not pit, so 9 laps in, we're going to see how the tire wear difference plays out. Roberto Crown Jr., the only car a lap down. Buddy Barksdale, Fitzwater, and Sustry getting some pretty good pit stops. Pretty ironic considering they basically caused that caution. And then Skizzato and Tristan Allen and Corey Williams and Vargas, Stinson, and Kiani rounding out the top 10. As I look at the table up there, I couldn't see him on the track.
Oh, you can just see the speed difference.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit something. And his car looks a lot better than Seth Cole. And I think it was, who else is back there? It's Gabriel Homos. So, yeah, we're going to have some guys limping around the track just trying to get any amount of points that they can.
RJ holding steady on the old tires, though. He's actually pulled a gap from the lap car holding up the field.
Yeah, RJ not doing too bad. He was leading Daytona, one of the duels, pretty well, wasn't he? Or he was leading the race at one point. So he's got some experience in the lead with these guys.
He had a very fast car in the Daytona Duels, one of the faster cars in that race, but everyone else kind of learned around that speed, and then he wasn't really a big factor in the Daytona race. So, yeah, they rebounded after Homestead, and they're 4 wide. Speaking of that, commentator's curse.
Yeah, definitely commentator's curse here. RJ puts that car in the wall, and he's going to fall out of the top 5 in 1 lap pretty much. And we are 3 wide. 2 rows deep, 3 rows deep in the top 10. And 3 is hanging on back there. And now Tristan Wilhoit, very solid start to the season. He's going to try to gun for the lead.
Oh, they're trying to go 4 wide again. Oh, Lucas backed out of it, though.
Yeah, very smart from that 21. You know, just get out of that situation. And now Wilhoit inherits the lead, at least this time by... Like I said, extremely strong start to the season. He's 6th right now.
Fitzwater cooked it a little too hard. You see him grinding the wall over there, the only one in the wall. As the high side's starting to groove up, they're going to start getting a little bit closer and hitting it while it's cold on the track just like this. But
man,
as long as they can avoid it, they're able to rip around this racetrack.
Extremely tight racing from pretty much everybody that we see here. It's just crazy. It's Sustrai in the wall again. They might have a tire down. I'm not too sure if that's what that is. Bobby Jones making his first start of the season. We didn't really mention that. He's going to try to go to the inside of Tristan Wilhoit here, as he desperately needs points to get ahead of the LCQ line.
Oh, they're bumping and banging in the quad oval. Oh my goodness, we have crazy racing going on all throughout the pack. Yeah, Bobby Jones making a statement in his first start, saying, I should have been here already. And he's going to send it 3 wide into turn number 3 outside turn 2.
He's going to go for it, I think. He's going to put Wilhoit in the middle of this. And he's going to force him to slide up a bit. See if Scazzato keeps it out of the wall. Looks like they
Scazzato bails, they make contact. Jones gets that lap, but he's going to take it down the inside and try to advance his lead. Scazzato really trying to peek out because Scazzato, I think, has one of the better cars in this pack, but they need clean air to really benefit from their car. So once they get stuck behind guys like Bobby and Wilhoit, they're not going to perform at their best. And you can kind of see that already. Bobby's trying to check out and clear both lanes already.
Yes, Scazzato, one of the faster cars in that first part of the run, but now we are well over the amount of laps he ran that first time. So we're going to see now kind of getting more into the middle part of this run here. Who has the car? And Dane Stinson qualified on the pole. He's back.
Yeah, just trying to ease into this run here. Dane knows that he might not have the advantage that some of these guys have on the short run, but on a long run, he looked really good in practice, and I think he probably had the best 15-lap average out of all of them. So he's going to be cooking in this middle part of the race here, but he's always really good at this as per his background and his resume. So, yeah, expect Dane to be really good at these worn-out pavement races because this guy is just all over this kind of racing, and you can see it right here.
Absolutely. That 50 machine looking pretty strong, and I was going to say, unlike the 6 of Matt Mitchell last week, who ironically is kind of holding his own here at Atlanta, they must have figured something out week to week. The 50 is hanging on from the pole position, at least just now in P2, but he's standing up. He's staying strong up here.
The competition level is definitely fierce. You can see it with just how fast that 39 is. Missing the first 2 races and being able to lead like this just knows that this field is cut by such small margins. You can miss the race by 1/1000th of a second.
Yeah, and Bobby Jones making it into this race here. It's first start all season, like we said. Now leading. It's kind of like Seth Cole last week. It was his first real start all season. And he ended up winning the race. As we have a caution. Oh, man. Oh, Michael Sweeney and Joey Murphy.
That looks bad.
Completely out on track. Yeah, we're going to have to see what happened there. Stop middle of the track. Very dangerous. And no indication of really what caused it quite yet. We got the race back. Tristan Allen putting it in the wall. And Bobby Jones leading him back to the stripe for caution number 2. 21 laps into this thing. So we'll see what happened to cause that. The result didn't look too good. We'll see what the cause was. Alright, taking a look at the replay that caused the second caution of the race here. We see Swiney on the bottom of a 3-wide situation. Reynolds up top, started second in the race, falling all the way back to like 30th or something there. Harry Klein turns Buddy Barksdale, and that's going to throw Swiney probably head on into the wall here. Barksdale hits it first, and yeah, that's not good. And then Joey Murphy, he also gets collected. It just destroys the right front of that car. And the 18
yeah, thank goodness none of those were driver's side hits.
Yeah, I mean, that's the safest way they could probably have the worst wreck they could have here.
Yeah, exactly. That was still a terrible wreck, though. High-speed impacts. Probably a couple of hurt guys. Definitely got some disturbing in-car audio. So, Michael Swiney, I think he climbed out of the car okay, but I didn't quite see it from up here. So, we'll see. We'll have to look back at the other replays to really, check out what kind of violent impact this was. Because in slow motion, you don't really get a depth perception of how hard that hit really is. So, we'll cut to some more replays and show y'all some very disturbing audio.
Alright, back once again after a pretty horrific accident here at Atlanta, but luckily it seems like all the drivers will be at least okay and alive. I know Michael Sweeney's been taken to the Animal Armor Veterinary Hospital and Pet Lodge just outside the Peachtree Immediate Care Center in Lovejoy, Georgia, so he should be well taken care of, I imagine, as Bobby Jones leads him back to the green once again.
I'm still shaking. Bobby Jones going to lead him into turn 1, and Christian Vargas right behind him. Ash Curtis with a decent run right now, actually, if he can hold this position. And as soon as I say that, Richard Johnson right down the inside.
Yeah, Richard Johnson taking advantage of the restart situation here. Like we said, he missed Homestead, and he's not looking too hot in the point standings. 47th out of the 50 drivers who have at least made an attempt to make a race. And currently 4th on the track right now. Didn't finish too well at Daytona. He's going to have to bounce back here at Atlanta.
It's definitely a rebound week for a couple of guys. 39, 93 included. 71 running up here, running really good. I don't think he really needs a rebound, but he definitely needs some momentum if he wants to continue high up in the points. Fitzwater running here, actually really good. Same with a Moto. So, ooh, they're getting dicey already, hitting the wall again.
Yeah, Ash Curtis had time in the wall. Speaking of a Moto, kind of in a very similar situation as Johnson's, and he's 43rd in points. I believe he missed Homestead as well, so he's got to capitalize here. Fitzwater, you mentioned, pretty solid. Ryan Jasper, Daytona 250 winner. He's right behind Keanu, points in 6th place. He's only 9 points out of the lead. Shane Sides, we haven't really talked about him all day, and that's because he's been pretty far down in the order. So a lot of guys are going to be moving and shaking along the points table, I imagine. Oh, there's Shane Sides. There he is.
Not running as bad as we thought. He's just in the mid-pack.
Yeah, he didn't.
Eric DeMax.
Didn't have a good start. I want to say he started like 40th or something. It really wasn't too good. But he's up here. Oh, Jasper and Keanu looked like they got into it a little bit there. Maybe Rodriguez gave him a bit of a bump. But I saw him move from one side to the other for sure.
Yeah, that was really, really close. Really, really close. They were racing extremely hard today. Knowing what's on the line is the rest of the season. I mean, there's no playoffs or any kind of format that resets the points. You got to get going from Daytona to get your championship charge. So, yeah, missing a race or, missing 2 races certainly isn't an ideal case. So, a lot of these guys, they know what they got to do, and they're pushing really, really hard at the beginning of this race.
I'd say the story of the season so far, at least for the teams, I got to give a shout to Team SB here, as they've been like relatively near the top 10, only 30 laps into this race, but it seems like this week they might have all the pieces in place. Corey Williams not looking too hot last week, but Eric Rodriguez up here in 8th place. Scott Hernandez not too far behind him, probably like 13th or 14th if I had to look. 13th. Coy Williams there in 15th. And then,
Shane's in 19th.
yeah, 91 Shane Sides there.
So yeah, pretty much all of them within the same camera shot, which is always an amazing sign for the sponsors and for the team, because that just means that you guys are all running really well and up towards the front. So definitely the best all-together program, especially in the Ford camp. So Team SB, one of those blossoming teams. None of these guys really have an established footnote, and they really won't until the end of the season. So yeah, any kind of advantage that these guys can get, they'll take it in season 1. Everyone's at ground zero.
Absolutely, yeah. Any advantage you can get going into season 2 is going to matter tremendously. So it's very important to get all the team cars in place. You don't want to have a lot of them DNQing, because that gives you less opportunity to collect team points, you know, to potentially gather some R&D for next season. I mean, if your guys aren't making the race, how are you making money, you know? So it's going to be very difficult for some teams to climb out of the hole they've already dug themselves into now, but there's a lot of teams still fighting at the top, like just legitimately bent like each and every point. Like we have Dick Hare and Team SB at the top of the table right now. I mean, it's just crazy just with everything that's happening right now in the points table for team points and all that. Alpha Connolly not too far behind with their Daytona win, but I mean, for guys like for Flipside Racing who kind of just haven't been there yet, it's going to be very important.
Yeah, Natan and Ash are actually having some really good runs for that team, speaking of Flipside. And, you know, it's a team that struggled to get off the ground in the first 2 races, but, you know, some of the teams are going to have growing pains. It's not really going to be the easiest series to carve your way out of, because everyone's so even. So you got to find your strengths and weaknesses and build upon those as the season goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Hernandez, oh man, making the dive of a lifetime down there, trying to get to the inside of the 51 at Curtis. Maybe forcing a 4-wide situation. Oh man, nearly turns him. Oh my.
What a save.
Hernandez, what the hell? But oh my god, what a save from Ash Curtis. Very hard
they all
racing.
Stayed within the same like position range and everything. Nobody passed each other. That was pretty pointless. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, Hernandez probably thought he was a bit more clear than he was, but man.
Spotter, get on your job up there. Zachary Fitzwater's spotter's probably going to be really busy. He's been 3 wide for like 2 laps, and he can't handle it anymore. He just smacked the wall, so
yeah,
he's going to lose that momentum.
I'm not sure if he got into it prior to that, but he's been up there for like the past like at least 5 or 6 laps that I've at least taken notice.
It's a good lane to stay up in, to stay in a fight for a couple laps, but I wouldn't stay up in that high side for longer than what I just said, 1 or 2 laps. It'll just cook the tires, and you can see it. They're getting way too close to the wall, but these drivers are brave. They're braver than me, so that's why they're sitting in the seat and I'm up here.
Yeah, exactly. As the fight for the lead getting a little more intense, here's Emi Scazzato back into the fray, taking on Christian Vargas. Scazzato, I would have to argue, is the strongest car all day out of the ones that are so clean on the track. 8 Machine's looking very strong.
Yeah, they have lasted the entire race up at the front of this pack throughout all the adversity and wrecks. So, yeah, Scazzato, I noted it earlier, they just looked faster than everybody else in the pack. They charged better in the middle of the corner, and they have really, really good exit speed onto the straightaways. So hopefully they can get around Crown here so they can continue their charge, but we'll see which one of these 2 prevails off of turn number 2.
Yeah, and it looks like they are. I think the 31's going to stay on the high side, and Vargas gets the hell out of Dodge there, shoots it to the bottom almost right away. But Crown is still going to be in the way. As we're going to
Eric.
Yeah, Eric flying by there. Crown's going to be a bit of a nuisance here, unfortunately.
Corey. Couple guys sneaking up in the top 10 that were definitely not up there just a couple of laps ago. Crown might get into the wall up here, very close, but cutting right down the racetrack. This 31 is something to watch for sure. We might have a yellow here, no fault of this pack zone, but
yeah, definitely
Crown just barely meeting minimum speed.
Yeah, just wanted to keep an eye on that situation for a little bit, so that's why I had the camera focus there. And Bobby Jones, Ash Curtis, Dylan Connolly, what a situation we have brewing here.
He's not the best in qualifying, but I swear he will show up in the race at some point or another if he doesn't get wrecked. So I don't know what the bad juju is on Saturdays, but on Sundays, this team has it together.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty strong on race day, and that's what matters. And you mentioned Eric Rodriguez. Look, now in the top 3. He was like 8th when we checked on Team SB. And I was talking about them, but that lap traffic to Eric's benefit here. He's looking to get Team SB's first win. They've been in the position to get it, just haven't gotten it yet. Only 3 races in still.
Eric right all over the bumper of Christian Vargas. And he's going to go right down the inside, down the back straightaway into turn number 3. And he's going to launch it down the inside. Let's see who prevails. Vargas has honestly had a decent car in that middle lane all day long, but Eric's staying right next to him. Scazato's loving this, by the way. They're just going to try to pull away and save their tires in clean air, but Rodriguez really trying to get this move done. It's been a whole lap side by side almost now.
And who else is loving this? Nathan Kiani, currently 4th in points, also 4th on track. I think he's taken me kind of bad-mouthing his team a little personally. I've said the rest of his team just kind of hasn't been there to perform, but the 71 said, I'll take charge if I have to. I own this damn team. Up there in P4, trying to capitalize, maybe steal a race win from any of these 3 teams right here.
Yeah, he'll stick a Oscar Mayer wiener in your mouth if you keep talking bad about his team and hush you up. So Eric Rodriguez is going to take the Oscar Mayer wiener out of Christian Vargas's mouth and go down the inside again and try to catch him with his pants down, but he's not really getting that move done. And I don't know, Vargas's car is just a little bit too strong on exit for Rodriguez to make a move on this long run.
Yeah, you mentioned Vargas pretty strong in that lane, and he's pretty comfortable in it too. I'm not sure if Eric's is comfortable running the bottom as Vargas is running the lane that he's in, which might be why he hasn't been able to get that move done. But Kiani is looking pretty comfortable, and that 77 shoots out of line, definitely out of his rhythm. See if Kiani can capitalize and steal P3. The rest of the field kind of closing in while they're battling up here.
Yeah, they've all settled in and gotten into kind of a single file line, so they'll be passing each other once they get runs, but as you can see from this 3rd place battle, it's not really easy to pass on old tires at Atlanta.
No, it's a bit more difficult than I thought it would be. I thought we'd see a bit more of a difference in the tire wear, but just with how equal everybody is, they're hanging on a little bit more. I mean, it's still everyone's first time figuring this track out with these cars and everything like that. And man, Rodriguez and Kiani having a hell of a battle here for 3rd.
This is one for the books and for the end of season reel already. These guys are duking it out. Victor Nunez has a front row seat, and Eric's teammate Corey Williams right behind him. So those guys are going to be the ones that are going to try to pounce on this opportunity, but Kiani just can't get that move done on Eric. Speaking of that, I think that we have a battle for the lead or something.
Yeah, we do. Vargas once again going after Scazzata. Looks like we have a car in the pits. I didn't quite see who that was, but we'll try to take a look and get a glimpse at it real quick. Oh, it's Eric DeMax. Not sure what's happening with him.
Engine problems. It doesn't look like they're getting their tires jacked up off of the ground, so they may be under the hood there.
Yeah, they've only been there for a lap so far, so not too sure what's happening there. We'll have to get some information whenever we can. Scazzato and Vargas, man, they've been having a heck of a battle for the past couple of laps, and just this entire race is kind of back and forth, taking the lead from each other.
And don't look too far behind those two. Eric's catching up, and same with the rest of that pack. And Nunez actually getting by Kiani, and Corey Williams trying to make another move, but Hamoto's going to say no to that one.
Yeah, Williams having a pretty good run considering the last couple of races. He just kind of hasn't been there, but still hanging on. 38th in points. Really needs a good finish in the top 10 here today to kind of firmly keep himself ahead of the top 30. Nunez, also, he's on that cut line. He's on 30th place, so he just barely made it into this race, just, you know, without having to do the LCQ. With the finish here today, with where he's at right now, it's going to solidify him up there. So he definitely wants to get a race win today. I mean, as everyone does. As Rodriguez is going to go 3 wide.
Sending it down the inside. Rodriguez trying to take that very bottom lane that's been so hard to pass on all day long. Vargas going to benefit from sitting in the middle, and Scazzato going to get that amazing run from the high side, but hopefully they don't burn their tires off.
Yeah, that was a heck of an attempt from Rodriguez. He just didn't get enough of his car to the inside to really upset anyone enough to move him up.
You can see it. You can see how much the high side burned off the 8's tires. They lost so much momentum, and Vargas is actually about to clear Schizato.
And just the moving and shaking of this race, just the rhythm of it changing every so often. You see the lane is maybe even moving up a bit as Rodriguez didn't even get to the bottom. Schizato and Vargas having the hell of a battle. I've said it like probably 50 times now, but what the heck, man, this is crazy.
Vargas cleared Schizato for just a moment, and then the 8 said, no, 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 not today, and went right down the inside. So, yeah, this is some crazy, crazy racing right now. This is insane. We're 55 laps into this, and they're still side by side for the lead. And 3 wide for 3rd place.
Yeah, not even halfway through this one yet, and we've just had some crazy racing. Schizato's still hanging on behind, just barely hanging on to the inside of the 00. I'm not sure if they're going to have it. Rodriguez is going to take a peek, but I don't think it's enough. Is Schizato even there? Not quite. No, and finally Vargas clears that 8 car.
Wow, this racing has been super, super, super intense. Edge of your seat stuff. The fans are loving this. And Vargas is also loving it, but so is Schizato. Schizato's really, really going for it and not giving up that lead. Always poking down the inside of him.
And now it's Nunez's turn. He's going to try to give it
Nunez has been watching.
He's going to give it a go. Oh, 100%. He's been watching. You can kind of tell he's just kind of biding his time. Finally got around the 77 of Rodriguez, and now he's going to go for P1.
I see someone back there in the top 10. I've been watching him. He looks really, really quick on this long run. It's the 95. He caught this pack and separated away from the one behind him, and then is now passing Natan. So allowed a second pack to catch up and also going for a main pack. That seems like a really, really fast long run car.
Yeah, he's kind of been slow in the first couple races, but he's made both the races at the start of the season, so he's definitely at least a top 30 car. But right now he is a top 10 car, and like you said, just kind of slowly working his way through the field. This could be the guy to watch at the end of this one. We had Trojan Condoms win last week. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, just look at this thing. Look at this thing.
I don't know what that was, but Dylan Connolly really getting a big run on a moto and not able to capitalize on it. It's just kind of the epitome of long run Atlanta. Just see how these guys are side by side and not able to do anything about it. They're just stuck. But it takes some real like courage and push to get out actually in front of somebody.
As we see, the 2 lap down cars have been turned into modifieds for this race.
Yeah, the headless horses or headless horsemen over here, I should say, because these guys are just, yeah, they are running around with nothing.
I swear they've been side by side this entire race, like in the same spot with like just no front of their car the whole time.
Classic Atlanta. Even the cars with no hoods are racing each other.
I mean, if you're the same speed, what else are you gonna do except try to finish ahead of the car ahead of you? So, I mean, I can't blame them.
Battle.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the best battle we could have for like 40th, you know. But
I wonder when these guys are gonna dive into the pits. It's been so long since they've been out and gone in for the yellow.
Since lap like 25-ish or so, right? I mean, it had the 21's when the yellow came out, about 23, I'd say. So I mean, they've been out there for nearly 40 laps at this point.
Yeah, definitely. No matter which way you put it, it's been almost 40 laps, maybe even more. So, yeah, they've definitely got some wear in their tires. If the tires start cording, it's definitely going to be an issue, and we'll see some guys slow down real fast before they even enter the pits. So, yeah, it's an issue at Atlanta, but it's one of the many challenges these drivers are having to face here at this really, really big worn-out track. So,
I mean, if you can stretch it and still kind of be somewhat fast, that's a really good sign of the performance you've had, at least in this first stint of the run. You got to make that last in the second half of the race, and also the adjustments that could be made. You know, you just never know what someone is going to change. You know, someone who has a bad car could have an amazing car in the second round, and maybe someone up here, like, you know, Nunez or Williams or anyone up here, they could just make a small adjustment, maybe air pressure or something, and all of a sudden they got a rocket ship. So it'll be interesting to see. And what's also interesting is the lap traffic. How's Vargas and Schizato going to manage these guys here?
Vargas tried to go really aggressive. He was dipping down onto the apron going into turn 1 with his corner trajectory there, so he was really, really testing it. But he's going to send it 3 wide on these guys, probably make a very easy pass by the exit of turn 4, and guide the guys on the inside away. And Nunez is going to be the odd man out and get held up by the 2 lap cars.
Yeah, interesting to note there, as you saw Scazzato, I don't know if you noticed it, but Scazzato held right behind Gabriel Hamo there, and just at the very last second decided to throw it to the inside, so getting a little bit of draft from the teammate, and then as soon as they're ready, hey, they said, I'm not going low, I'm going to let you go by, and then Scazzato definitely got the advantage there as Nunez got held up on the high side, nowhere they could really go.
Yeah, the lap cars are a very pivotal part of this race. This first run is really the most important run of the race, because as long as there's not a sparse amount of cautions, it will set the run for the rest of the race. They're not sparse, so a massive amount of cautions. So, you know, if these guys keep it together and we get 1 or 2 more yellows, this is basically the race for the win. And whoever's out in the lead is going to control that race, and we'll get to see how it plays out. So, yeah, these guys are trying to definitely establish who's going to be the first person to put their chess piece down for pit road and take that lead. So,
yeah, I'm interested to see who ends up diving in first, like, out of this front pack. I just want to see who's managed their tires more. It's going to be very interesting to look at. But, I mean, it seems like the 00 and this 8 are definitely the cars to beat here today. And Team SB, also starting to show like a lot of force early on in the season. We mentioned it. I mean, these guys are just looking super strong. They always got a car in the top 5, it seems. And now it looks like Corey Williams says, hey, it's my turn now. Like, I need to get up here. I need the points. Rodriguez has finished pretty well enough, but Corey Williams, race 3 out of 16, says, hey, I need something here. So he's going to try to take the spot away from him.
yeah, you know, these guys in Team SB, they really knew what they had once they unloaded in Daytona. I mean, I think I talked about it in qualifying. They were really boastful about how fast it was going to be on these quicker racetracks. They didn't really unload the best in Daytona qualifying, but when you saw them in that race, they were really, really fast. And, you know, it's just showing in the rest of the weeks that sometimes teams at ground zero can find one small thing, and it's just going to make all that difference. So, yeah, and speaking of making all that difference, Connolly is making a whole bunch of passes right now.
Hey, he's going to get around Nathan Chiani, take P5 away. I imagine we're approaching the pit window here pretty soon, so end of the first really long green flag run. Dylan Connolly for Alpha Connolly Racing looking really strong. Unfortunately, one of his drivers collected in the incident earlier, Joey Murphy. And it doesn't look like anyone else really doing too much for that team. I know Vargas was up there early on, but he's fell back to, it looks like, 19th now.
Ryan Jasper, he's
Jasper.
like doing okay. I wouldn't say that's an amazing run. DJ Curtis, definitely a guy that needed a lot more going into this race. Capitalizing from the wrecks for sure, but not having the best run on track.
And the other Alpha Connolly car is Cody Lamas, 31st. Just rough day for a majority of that team. It seems like 3 out of the 4 cars are just kind of not there. They're gonna have to figure that out, but a lot of them get wrecked, so I mean it's not really their fault for most of that. But hey, 95
Maybe
has shown up
the
here
team owner
today.
snuck in a tire test or 2 in here. Who knows? But either way, he's sitting up in the top 5.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! That scared the living hell out of me. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, dude,
Eric
insane.
DeMax just flying down the inside of Dylan Connolly right into
Oh
that
my
camera
god!
boot. Oh my
What?
god!
Sir, what are you
Where
doing?
is your spotter?
Eric DeMax.
Oh my goodness.
Eric DeMax, we saw him in the pits. I don't know if he had an engine problem or something, but he put on some freshies and he is slicing and dicing his way through the field. Multiple laps down, I'm sure. Nearly wiping out Corey Williams.
He wants that lap back, man. He's not going to let anything stop him from getting that lap back. And if there hasn't been a yellow, I don't even want to know how bad he was terrorizing those guys back there. So,
Yeah,
obviously,
that
he
is-
got what he wanted. He's going to run off in the distance.
That is frightening. Where the heck is he at even on the table right now? He's 5 laps down. Alright, well, as you do.
So I'd be racing 5 laps down, too, to be honest.
Yeah, as you
Punt him
do.
out of the way.
It's, the one and only driver from Team Tom's to make all 3 races this season is Ryan Reed. Not looking too hot. Ryan Reed's team is doing better than he is personally, which is pretty sad. You know, it just is what it is.
Some guys just aren't cut out for the competition at MRC. It's okay. We have the Gold Series.
It will be coming
So-
soon. It will be.
It will be coming next year when all of the guys that can't make it out of pre-qualifying consistently will finally have a place where they can make the races. So, yeah, second series coming in the second season, and that'll be really fun.
25th place is Dane Stinson, who was our pole sitter, right? I mean, now he's down to 25th place.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think it's something with his car. He just does not have that long run pace that those two up front have. And, you know, Dane has really, really quick short run pace. You can see it. I mean, he got the pole. And, I mean, you can really only test this kind of pace when you're this deep into a race run. So, yeah, they're not capitalizing off of the speed of their car, and that's kind of a shame. Ryan Jasper, side by side with him, and then Aiden Smith.
Oh, there's
Popeyes
Eric
Ford.
again.
Oh my God, Eric DeMax, just a jump scare every single time you see him. He's going to be bump drafting this 44 car, and then I don't know, maybe take some crazy line as they're trying to come down into pit road.
I was going to say, we got some Seth Cole energy from Eric. I think he took that race last week personally with how he lost it. So he's undercutting like hell here. Probably had an actual issue. So we see Tristan Wilhoit bringing him down into the pits. Looks like RJ Reynolds had already come in. I'm not sure if there was a lap before these guys or not. But it looks like
They have
Wilhoit.
their pit sign down. I think they may have a problem.
Oh, no, they're
They
out
are
there
coming
now.
out now.
So we see the cars finding their pit boxes now for the first round. None of the direct leaders coming in until just now. They're all coming in on the same lap. I think they were just following what the 00 was thinking, probably listening to the spotter audio. And yeah.
Gianni almost baked it really hard into the pit road and hit somebody. That was really, really close.
Yeah, it's a lot of potential for damage on pit road too. That's one thing you got to watch out. You could get some right side damage or something. So we try to catch up to the leaders. It looks like, I'm not sure if Scazzotto had already come out. Probably not. There they go. Into their stall now. So you see Stinson getting out of his stall from the lap before. Harry Klein, who might have made contact with Jacques de Clock. I'm not too sure. Doesn't look like any rear damage. As we'll get back to the on-track actions here. See if anyone had stayed out.
I don't think so. I think
No,
everyone actually
yeah.
came in the same sequence.
Yeah, I can't find anyone on track besides DeMax at the
Eric
moment.
DeMax,
so,
yeah.
So
Getting his one of 4 laps back, wherever he's at.
yeah, he got 2 laps
3 laps
back.
down.
Yeah, he went from 5 to 3 laps down. So I mean, it's at least worth it there if a caution comes out. I mean, that's awesome. So
He gets to race the 31 car at least, so good on him.
yeah. Speaking of, there he is. He's looking a lot slower than DeMax was. As yeah, we see him all rejoining the track now. We've been well over halfway for a minute.
Is that
And-
Bobby Jones I saw was the first car out of pit road?
That might have been. He might have been the first car from that first round of stops, and I think
Yeah,
it
there's
was.
Eric.
Yeah, so that's one of the Beacon Penske cars finally starting to show a little bit of force here. Mentioned Jones missed the first 2 races of the season. Sussride was involved in that accident earlier. And Cal Farrell also missed this race, I believe, right? I haven't seen him all
Yep.
day. Yeah, Cal Farrell also missed this race, so not looking good for Beacon Penske, but Bobby Jones at least showing up. I mean, a win here would do wonders for the team points, but still got to get those individual cars ahead of 30th and the owners. And so we'll see how long his tires last as opposed to the guys who came in later than him. Rodriguez came on the same sequence as Scazzotto and Vargas, and he is second compared to Vargas and Scazzotto in 4th and 8th. So, yeah.
Will Hoyt jumped both of those two, and Connolly slotted right in between where he was in 5th place. So some guys benefiting hard, some guys staying where they are, and some guys losing exactly where they were on the track. So, yeah, that's what that whole first run was all about. Just seeing who's going to be the first one to bite. And I think Bobby Jones was the first one to bite, and Eric was the first one to get off pit road. So now you're seeing the race. These two are really, really fast. They separated from Will Hoyt very quickly.
Yeah, and I imagine this should be the race to the end, barring another caution, because it's well within, like, it's 45 laps or so to the end, and they went, I mean, when did they put on, like, 80-something, so, I mean, they made a solid 50
Oh,
laps.
Harry
Klein, slow on the track. He makes it to the apron, thankfully. Luckily, a
That was
caution
scary.
didn't come out. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah, his teammate Christian Vargas would definitely not have appreciated a caution right there. So,
No.
oh my God! Now it's the exact opposite
Yeah.
scenario of earlier.
And
Eric DeMax in the way.
Now you see the tire situation and the difference. I mean, the 36 looked fast, but I mean, this is really how slow they were going. So, it just, man, the tire fall off is just incredible here.
Now,
So-
I made an example of that, but I didn't expect an exact example in the race. This is literally what I was talking about, that tire difference. It is crazy
Yeah.
how much speed you gain from a new set of boots on these cars.
Yeah, it's like insane strategy split. It really wasn't a strategy. I think the 36 is some sort of issue. But, yeah, I mean, just the difference in speed held up Spike Stinson. Probably not very happy about that, I can't imagine. So,
Yeah, Spike definitely not happy about that. Gained all that time on pit road and just lost the draft. So, yeah, Scazzotto probably a very unhappy camper right now with her or with their pit crew because they lost so much time. Look how far behind they are compared to Eric and even Vargas.
oh, and Corey was really pushing it, trying to get around Scazzotto there. And it's not going to
Oh,
happen.
and Tickle on the high side.
And look who's joined up in the Team SB Brigade. I mentioned Shane, he was like 20th or so, but look at him. He's sneaking his way over to the top 10 here. 3 wide as they try to get around the lap cars. Shane goes 2 for 1 in that corner, and Tess Tickle get just royally screwed here by Eric DeMax. The lap down car.
What a pass from Shane Sides. That was extremely, extremely good. He was flying through that turn number 1 and 2 way faster than I've seen really anybody go in these single car type of packs. So,
And that's your points
yeah, Shane
leader.
is a good car.
That's your points leader too. He knows how important this is. He's back in the top 10, and he's keeping that top 10 streak alive. He's got 2 top 10s in the first 2 races at Daytona and Homestead, which is kind of hard to do. Just Daytona in general, just avoiding death, and then Homestead just kind of bounce back and just show that you belong here. Shane is definitely showing I deserve that points lead. Didn't qualify too well, but he is up here today.
Yeah, you got to be on it right from Daytona, and Shane Sides is definitely showing that. Not having the flashiest runs in the entire field, but he's been in the top 10, he's been at the front, and he finishes there. That's the most important part. It doesn't really matter where you qualify, it doesn't really matter where you run on lap 20. It matters where you finish at lap 130, or that end of whatever race you're at. So, yeah, Shane Sides doing a great job in assessing the field and making some passes when the time was right. So.
And an important thing to note in this race, the only 2 other drivers with 2 top 10s through these first 2 races are Eric DeMax and Roberto Crown Jr., and they are not on the lead lap right now. Crown got in that wreck, and DeMax had some sort of problem, so Shane pretty solid here. He might still have he should still have that points lead coming out of this one. It's Keani 8 points behind him in the points table, and I think he's out of the top 10 at the moment, 19th it looks like.
Yeah, Keani was having a pretty close day and looked like he was actually going to gain the points lead on Shane Sides today until that first round of pit stops. But we'll see. We still got plenty of laps to go and time for this race to shake out.
Yeah, it's starting to get closer and closer to 30 to go, as it looks like Shane is going to be taking... It's going to go to the top 3 wide as... He's going to lose that spot. And Harry Klein, did they run? They might have ran out of fuel is what happened. I'm not sure what happened there. I mean, they're back on the track.
Could have swapped the battery out, ran out of fuel, whatever
that
the
could have
case
been-
was. They had no power on that 66, and they might have needed a Napa battery. I'm not gonna lie.
I was about to say, they better hope it wasn't a Napa battery that was in that car originally. Otherwise, it's going to look really horrible for their sponsor. But hey, they're back out on the track. And the other Napa batteries car is in the top 10. So, take what you can
Well,
get
we better
there.
hope his battery's charged because we don't want to see that car blow up today. He's been having a great run. Luis Hernandez, I don't know where he came from, but he's here. We got 2 Team SB cars in the top 5 and 3 Fords in the top 5. That's pretty crazy.
Ford is looking super strong early on this season. Of course, got the win last week. They're, 3 cars in the top 5, like you said here. You got the 2 other Chevys kind of showing up who won Daytona, the Alpha Connolly's team winning Daytona. You got the misfit boy of Tristan Woolwhite up here. As his other teammates just kind of non-existent in this one, unfortunately for him. With Vanderhorst just getting involved in that accident. And Allen, I'm not even sure where he's at. I haven't seen him like all day. But now he's getting
He was
passed by
like
Hernandez.
24th last time I saw him. He's there.
Yeah, 25th as we look there. Yeah, Will Hoyt looking like the very strong Misfit Motorsports car here today. See if they can get that Chevy, keep it in the top 5. He's currently 6th in the point standings at the moment, so he's going to gain a lot this week on Keani Jasper, DeMax Crown. So he might move up to 2nd if he collects a couple more points here.
Yeah, I mean, the points table can definitely shuffle quite a bit today. We had some guys make the race that haven't been really in the last couple of races, from Daytona to Homestead. And, you know, it's the 3rd race. This is when things start getting, you know, buckled down. We got to get our season going. So it's going to set the tone and wash off maybe some fluke runs from the first 2 races.
Yeah, this part of the season, it's really going to show who's consistent. This little after like the first the hump there to get over Daytona and Homestead, the little Florida trip down there. So now we're going to start moving out. We're going to start moving all over the country here. We're going to even leave the country at some point. So we're going to see who can handle that and who brings the consistent equipment, the consistent attitude to show up and win these races. And it looks like Ford has definitely brought some of the stronger equipment. And Bobby Jones has definitely brought the correct attitude to win this race. He is driving like he's pissed off that he's missed both the races early on in the season.
I don't think you can handle that.
I can't.
That's depressing. And Bobby Jones is not depressed. He's leading every single lap he can out in this run. I think ever since the pit stop sequence has ended, he hasn't been cursed by me yet. But Eric DeMax is gonna. Oh, he just flew up into the leaders.
No, and we're gonna have a big one. No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. That was close.
Holy Oh no, we are.
Slow down.
No. Oh my God, this is horrible. This is just, I don't know what to say. No. Oh no, God. Oh shit. No, what a freaking wreck. Oh my God.
Oh my God, I don't even know what to say.
I have no words. Holy crap. Oh my God. Well, by far the worst wreck in MRC history. Probably forever. I don't know how many cars are going to have left at the end of this thing.
Dylan Connolly's in the lead. Wow.
That was a lot to take in.
I don't know what to say.
They were racing so clean for so long.
That was an incredible race that we were watching. And that was awful. That was a horror crash. That was worse than what happened to Michael Swiney. I mean, that was terrible.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take a breather. I think there. That was. I'm still shocked. I'm in shock. I think. Well, the Animal Armor Veterinary Hospital and Pet Lodge is gonna fill up pretty quickly. I think. Outside of immediate care, so we're gonna take a look and see what caused that. I think we know, but I mean, just the rest of the field. I don't know if we're gonna have a field going in the next week at Bristol, but we're gonna see if everyone's okay. All right, so Gosha number 3, and yeah, I mean, what can I say? I mean, there's just I don't know what to say about this. So Eric DeMax slides up like for no reason, just across the nose of Bobby Jones, and I mean that's MRC officials have already told us that there's definitely going to be some sort of punishment for this. They don't know what it is going to be yet. We're gonna have to look at the calamity of everything that's happened, but incredibly dangerous driving takes out 2 of the best cars in the field, 2 of the best cars in that run for sure. Bobby Jones and Eric Rodriguez, each 2 Ford teams taken out by a Toyota, so not looking good for that, you know. Luckily they miss Eric on the first go around here. Harry Klein also gets through, and then Schizzato I'm pretty sure gets into somebody here. Oh, maybe they avoid oh no, they avoided that one, I guess. I could have swore they got hit at some point. Oh no, yeah, they hit Eric, yep. And then Corey also involved, and then just total calamity behind him. RJ Reynolds gets into Eric, and Shane Sides got in the back of Bobby Jones, flips him over. Victor Nunez gets flipped over as well. Kiani, we mentioned having a great run. Carlos Mendez and No Limits. Hey, man. I don't know what to say, man.
There's going to be a lot of pissed off drivers after this race.
Oh, 100%. Pedro Lucas just trying to avoid. I don't know what happened there. There's nothing he could really do. That collects Fitzwater as well as Lamas and Lucas. Kiani probably should have just stayed on the brakes there, man. Just takes out Aiden Smith. Dane Simpson and Kyler Sustrai then just to wipe out Tristan Allen.
And Ryan Jasper.
And Jasper.
For good measure.
And Tristan ends up running into them as well. Ash
and then
Curtis
flipping on top of another flip car. And then Dane flips over again.
Carter Friesen, at least at this point, somehow making it out. Dane on his side. I mean, just a lot of cars flipped over. Just total chaos. We're definitely going to have a couple onboards from drivers that we know are okay. But, I mean, man, it's just horrible. I don't know what to say. It's just awful. And, this is the front of the field. I mean, the rest of them are all back here. They're all done. That's all from back there. So, we'll see if Connolly leads them to the green. I imagine they're going to have to come in again for tires just to stay safe by the end. But Connolly, Hernandez, Vargas, Wilhoit, and Spike Stinson, that's your top 5, at least going into the caution. And we'll rejoin your green after a couple on boards and some updates. Alright, so we rejoin you with 26 to go. They actually didn't come in and pit, which I think is a pretty dumb move personally, but we'll see how it shakes out for him. Dylan Connolly is going to lead Hernandez, Vargas, Tristan Allen, and Spike Stinson, Natana Moito, Testicle, Jack DeCock, DJ Curtis, Buddy Barksdale, and Cody Lamas, and that is everyone who's on the lead lap. This is everybody left in the race right here that you see.
Yeah, Natana Moito's Testicle is a really interesting line of wording there. Dylan Connolly trying to get out to our early lead on those old tires, but he can't even pass Harry Klein here. That's just depressing. They're gonna run up here on the high side, and I don't know. No one's really eking out ahead of the other right now. Harry Klein that gets run down the inside. He's gonna unlap himself.
There's a bit more than, I guess, 14 cars remaining. You got a lot of guys still in the back of the field who are just multiple laps down. I'm sure they'll make their way up through the field here in a bit. But yeah, I mean, you're going to see some of the fresh tires from the lap down cars who had to come in and pit and fix damage and throw the fresh rubber on. We'll see how it shakes out. We're going to see if Connolly can hang on. 25 to go. Oh, Spike Stinson. Dive into the bottom. He hasn't been here all day, but of course a wreck that takes out like 30 people will do that. So here he is.
Well, he showed up in that round of pit stops there, so he found his way up in the late running and avoided that wreck, luckily. And these guys, I mean, they just got a 4-leaf clover stuck somewhere where I can't really describe, and that's a benefit to have in racing. You know, sometimes you have to have more luck than speed to really benefit from some of these kind of things happening. And yeah, that's what most of these guys did.
God.
Buddy Barksdale flying down the inside. I think he took tires.
Yeah, I think Buddy Barksdale's the one guy to watch here. I've been looking at him. He's been carving his way through the field. Haven't seen him much of all day. 36th in the or 35th in the point standings coming into this race. Definitely not going to be there at the end of this one. And he, I think, made the call. I think he made the right call. He took tires. I told him to take tires. And maybe Lamas did too.
That is a fantastic call from the booth. And Spike Stinson is trying to go down the inside. He didn't make it work. Even Gabriel Romel's faster than him right now.
Yeah, Connolly threw this race away. That's unfortunate. So it looks like Buddy Barksdale, maybe Cody Lamas as well, that might have taken 4 tires. It didn't look like when we were watching that anyone had come down, but you know, maybe we had our mind on drivers, whether or not they were still alive. So
Cody Lamas with hood damage. He is flying versus Buddy Barksdale. I don't know what's going on, but even Cody's got speed right now.
I think these 2 cars are really the only ones in the contention for the win right now. So these 2 are the guys to watch. 21 to go this time by when they take the stripe.
We still have a race.
Yeah, we still got a race going. And Connolly's probably going to hang on the P3 there as Gabriel Homo kind of separating him from the rest of the pack. Or maybe not much longer. He took tires too. Even with no front end, tires matter a lot more.
Yeah, you can definitely see. I mean, it's just a clear call to make. I don't know if the other guys were banking on another yellow coming out with 13 cars on the track or what, but it was a bad call from anyone who stayed out apart from these, 4 or 5 guys. So, yeah, I mean, it just handed these 2 the win. They're going to duke it out right up here, but Buddy's starting to really pull a lead here.
Yeah, I think just not having that damage might be the difference for this 45 car out of nowhere. For Warren
Was Buddy
Racing.
Barksdale in a wreck earlier today?
I'm not too sure. I mean,
He's got damage.
yeah, I was gonna say it looks like it's a little beat in, but I'm not 100% sure.
We have 30-something wrecked race cars, so forgive us for not knowing every single car that is wrecked today.
Right.
It has been a chaotic Atlanta race.
100%. Look at Dick Hare Racing on the same shot right here.
They survived. All 3 of them survived. We were talking about how they weren't having a great day after Seth Cole, got involved in an accident, but now they rebounded and they got lucky. So now they're here. They're even ahead of Atlanta Moto right over there. So
They're 3 wide. Seth's not even on the same lap they are. It's amazing.
got the racing spirit in here with about 14, or not. I can't even do math right. It's like 16, 17 to go. Either way, it is cutting down to the nitty gritty of the race, and Buddy Barksdale is starting to get a lead.
Yeah, we'll see if maybe the 45 burns a bit more than the 48 does, but I think the hood damage on that 48 is probably the difference in what's going on right now. So Buddy Barksdale might walk away with this race win with just a pretty normal strategy call to take tires. I mean, even in a chaotic race like this, it just cutting down to strategy 2 weeks in a row for who ends up coming away with this thing. Connolly's firmly hanging on to third, but it looks like these guys who got a bit more draft. They're in a straight line. They might end up overtaking him eventually within these next 15 to 16 laps. Spike Stinson going to try to make a move on Vargas, it looks like, though.
One thing I'm thinking about is maybe those 2 are so slow up there that the tires and the speed will even out, and maybe Connolly's going to have a run at it, but he's losing so much time that I don't even think that's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's about 6.5 seconds back at this point, so I really don't think that's gonna happen. But I mean, if they get side by side, and I don't know, maybe if they wall each other or something, then maybe Connolly's back into it. But I'm sure Connolly's not really too pressed. He's got 2 cars of his in the top 5 right now, including him. So I mean, Connolly's gonna be pretty well safe ahead of the LCQ line. He was 31st coming into this race. Yeah, Connolly fell back another second that lap. There's no way. There's no way. So, I mean, yeah, he's got to be pretty satisfied, at least with where the 48 and 40, or 48 and 95 teams are finishing, as opposed to where Jasper and Murphy are going to finish here today.
Yeah, they if these guys saved correctly, they can make it to the end, but I mean, some of them might have a chance of running out of gas before the end of this race here. They were out green for a pretty long time, and it was a long caution cleanup.
Well, they did pit like around lap 80, a little bit after 80, and I think the fuel window is maybe 60 or so. They just got to stretch the tires more than anything. I mean, we might see 1 or 2 come in just in case if they didn't fill all the way up to 2, but I imagine they would have. I would at least came in
Yeah,
for
we'll
a
see.
splash of fuel, if anything, if you weren't confident. But not taking tires is insane to me.
Cody's not fading away too far now as the run's progressing. His car is definitely a little bit faster, but he's got that hood buckle, and it's not really helping him too much. So maybe if that wasn't there, he would have a better shot at winning this race, but he's kind of yo-yoing.
Oh, man, he looked like he reeled him in quite a bit this lap. I could be wrong visually, but I mean, he looks a bit closer.
He's having his moments. He's
No, he fell
gaining
off.
time and losing it. It's dependent on the lap, so I don't know. Maybe he's trying to find something, making small adjustments to the brake bias, seeing what he can do to get it down in the corner a little bit better. But either way, Barksdale, he's got the clear-cut advantage.
Maybe this
Unless Crown says
Yeah,
something
this
about
lap
that.
traffic might play into this. Cody definitely gaining that time by, as he's got the advantage. He's gonna be right on that tail end of that 45 car.
He's going to need that draft with 11 laps to go. He's going to probably be dependent on that draft because Barksdale doesn't have anyone in front of him, and that is allowing Lamas to probably stay within that range. And Crown holding up Barksdale really gave him an opportunity here.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't intentional of Crown at all, but it's definitely helping out Cody here, as he's even peeking out, saying, I want to make a pass here. I think he's got to hang on for a little bit longer. I'm not sure if the Queen Air is going to benefit with that hood buckled up and Barksdale near draft. He's going to have to time it right.
Look at the gap to third place. I mean, that call from all of those guys might be the worst call in history of MRC ever. I don't think there will be calls any worse than the ones they did today.
No, that was just a horrible wreck, and then an even worse strategy call to combat that afterwards, except from these two Chevy teams. Apparently, I mean, I'm surprised Alpha Connolly, they pit Cody, but they didn't pit Connolly.
Must have been an individual driver thought for some of these guys. Some of them can just pull down pit road, and then the pit crews just got to get ready right then and there. So, you know, it could have been a driver call for all these guys that made a witty decision to come into the pits.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. We might have to talk to some pit crews and teams and just see what the call really was there. I don't think Cody really has the consistent speed to stay with this 45. He's got to bank on another lap down car helping him out, and I don't think it's going to happen. DJ is way too far ahead, but still
DJ
putting
doesn't
the
have
race.
damage.
Yeah, he's
At least he doesn't look like it.
no, he's definitely not as bad off as the other guys were. I mean, still about 8 laps coming to the finish here, so I mean, we'll see what happens. It's really not much to talk about back in the field that we can really jump to, because there's only like 10 cars really remaining in this race, and they've all kind of settled. I guess, except for these guys, I guess. I mean, Tristan's been fighting off the Dick Air cars for a minute now. It's a
Seth
testicle.
Cole flying down there.
Yeah, I don't think
That's what
it's...
made me giggle a little bit. Just seeing him with no hood flying that fast.
And a lot of these guys, like Cole and Homo, who stayed out this entire time, have really benefited from that, because now they got a top 15 finish after being pretty much eliminated from the get-go. But now they're up here.
DJ Curtis going to get P11 even though he's not really on the pace. That's a guy that really needed a run like that. He was outside that top 30 bubble, and that surely is going to put him a little bit closer, if not propel him above that, with so many guys having bad runs today.
Yeah, missing Homestead with basically a top 10 here today. It's going to do a lot for him. It's going to be interesting to see how the points shake out because of just all the crazy crap that's happened in this race, but you know, we'll see. I'm not sure if they're going to catch DJ here, though. I do want to see if that happens, because, I mean, that could be, if they're relatively equal pace, but just slower than Buddy, then, I don't know. You might see something here.
Well, we only got about 5 laps to go, and they're making their way around the track, and it's not looking like too many things are changing out here. I mean, they're getting closer to DJ, I will say that much, but other than that, I don't know if it's going to be that much of a factor. It might actually help Barksdale more. Just getting some pull from a car ahead of him versus just being in clean air with Llamas tucked up right behind him. So, I don't know. Curtis has the smallest bit of hood buckles. It must not be any worse than Cody's damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's still... I mean, it's definitely enough to be slightly outpaced. I didn't think they were going to catch him, but man, they're approaching him pretty quickly. this could be the deciding factor in who wins this race. It just depends on who kind of plays this little chess game right here with the lap car, or whether or not DJ just moves out of the way. I mean, hopefully, we saw what Max did. Just get out of the way, man.
He's out of the way.
Dude, what's even more interesting is they might be fast enough to catch up to these guys. So, we'll see. Yeah, it looks like DJ just got out of the way. I don't know if it'll be enough. They might have lapped the entire field with this strategy call. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting close to it. If they don't lap everybody, they're gonna definitely have one of the biggest gaps that this series will probably ever see, besides maybe on a road course or something. But either way, this is a massive, massive gap, and definitely an amazing call from whoever made this call.
Yeah, 100%. Crew chiefs of Barksdale and Llamas really pulling through here today. But we're at 2 to go. In the story right now, that 45 of Buddy Barksdale, kind of a non-factor early on in this season. Had to make the LCQs, and at least for this race, he just went below the top 30. But he managed to make his way back into this one. He got the lead through just some crazy circumstances, as this entire race has been. And now it's Barksdale and Cody Llamas. Cody didn't look like he had the speed, but we'll see. We're going to have 2 more corners coming up here. Does Cody have anything for this 45 machine?
I don't know. It's getting really, really close, but it just looks like Barksdale has the overall speed. Llama's really sending it into these corners in the last couple laps here. Do we think he saved something for this?
I don't know. It's not enough. Final lap, Buddy Barksdale wins the Georgia Peaches 200.
That was definitely a race.
Just an insane race. It looked like it was going to go very clean until the end, but just one thing happened, and that was enough to change everything. And that hands the win to the 45 of Buddy Barksdale. What a change of momentum for this race. I mean, we thought it was going to be pretty Ford-dominated, but, I mean, Chevy, in the end, they just survived all the chaos, and they ended up taking home the victory here today. It looks like Connolly did end up coming home in 3rd place. Luis Hernandez takes P4. Spike Simpson with the top 10 there. Christian Vargas, very solid run. He was one of the more consistent cars there near the front that didn't get wiped out in that accident. Testicle the 3rd, P8. Natana Amamoto in 9th place there. And Tristan Woolhoit gets his 2nd top 10 of the season, coming home in 2nd place. And it looks like everyone else has made their way around the track. DJ Curtis, Gabriel Moe, Seth Cole, 1 lap down through 13th place there. Carter Friesen with another pretty solid finish in 14th, everything considered. Roberto Crown Jr. 15th as well, another good finish from him also. And I mean, I'm not too sure how it'll shake out. We'll see who the points leader is going to be, but he was near the top of the table, and then Shane obviously got wiped out. So we'll have to see how the points and everything ends up once we get the official word and everything from officials. But I mean, man, just what a crazy race. Do you have any more anything more to say about that?
I mean, Blake Warren's got to be really pissed but really happy at the same time. His car won, but his physical car did not finish the race. So yeah, first win on the season for Warren Racing. Buddy Barksdale and the guys executed a great strategy to cap that off today. A massive accident in the end portions of the race with about 30 to go, and that just changed the whole course of it. So very unpredictable race. It was eventful in multiple different ways, but I would say that was an enjoyable race from the stand perspective. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna run it back next week, and Atlanta will be just another footnote of the past. So that's our first round of this track done.
Yeah, just what an insane race overall. Just, I don't even know if you could really put words to it. It's just how crazy it was with that crash. But I mean, it was very solid, clean racing up until just a very unfortunate situation that was definitely avoidable. And we'll see how the officials end up handing out penalties for that one, and just the entire fallout and everything from this race. But as of right now, Buddy Barksdale, your winner of the Georgia Peaches 200, and we'll see how the points shake out. And then next time we're going to see you at Bristol. So take a look at the finishing results and points. Alright, here's your finishing results from Atlanta. Buddy Barksdale and Cody Lamas leading the charge with the Chevy front row closeout there. Dylan Connolly, team owner of that 48, finishing P3s. His other two cars pretty much just died in the race, and the rest of the top 10 you can see on screen there. Anything that you want to point out there, Schwal?
Yeah, we got two of the Dick Hair racing cars in the back half of the top 10 there with Jack DeCock and Testicle right there, surviving all the madness that there was today at Atlanta. I can't believe that we even had people finish.
I know, you just you see the gap from second to third. It's
26
seconds, so
it's almost unbelievable. And Tristan Wilhoit rounding out the top 10. That's a good finish for him amidst the chaos. DJ Curtis getting P11. Carter Friesen P14. I know I'm skipping a few people here, but some people I'm kind of expecting to finish where they were because, you know, they had damage.
And
so
some people are kind of starting to settle in the season, so we're starting to see who the more consistent drivers are. But I mean, pretty much from here on out, everyone else has just been out of the race to see
if
Fitz
you
Slaughter.
see your name, I am so sorry that you are part of this list, but everybody in this list has DNF'd in one way or another.
Look at Team SB down there. They're finishing 27th, 28th, and 30th. So, I mean, they were together pretty much all race, and they were together in the worst way at the very end of this one as well. Poor Shane Sides. He was a points leader. He will not be coming out of this race. Go through 31st through 40th. Just horrible stuff happening, and it's all because of the guy who finished in 36th place. The horrible stuff that happened here at Atlanta. And, you know, it's all because of that driver. And, poor Blake Warren and Austin Pebbles, man. They could have had a great day with Warren racing, closing out the with the win there, but you know, just kind of monkey paw. You got to take what you could get there. And now we're gonna go through the point standings. You see Roberto Crown Jr. is your points leader coming out of this one. Tristan Wilhoit staying pretty consistent, just one spot behind him. Shane Sides is going to drop 5 positions actually down to 6th place. It says 4 on the graphic, but it's probably 5. And Eric DeMax as well, losing 7 positions. So just not looking good for those two drivers here today. Other people have capitalized. Vargas moving up 9 places. Pretty good for him. We move on to the second page. Schwal, if you want to see if there's anything we can pick apart here.
Yeah, look at Dylan Connolly and Buddy Barksdale picking up 15 and 17 positions. Just goes to show what kind of things can happen in races like this. It's a moment of opportunity amidst a bunch of scrapped up cars and money. So
yeah, I mean, not everyone benefited from this race, but the ones who have, you could definitely tell with the amount of positions they've gained. You see Cody Lamas gaining 13 spots and Blake Warren losing 17, so it just kind of shows how crazy Atlanta was today. Pedro Lucas, Emi Scazzato, those No Limits cars kind of staying close together as well. Ash Curtis moving up 7 spots. Probably going to have a lot of red numbers on that right side of the screen once we move down. A lot of people are losing spots. Joey Murphy was in 15 positions, moves him into 31st. Cam Vanderhorst is having a horrible string of races, loses 6 positions down to 40th, and everyone from here on back, they're going to have to qualify their way in, so it's going to be pretty tough these next couple of races. And then
yep, and all those guys are going to be in pre-qualifying, duking it out. Seems like we have a closer race for that than we do for first place sometimes, so yeah, make sure to keep tuning in the Discord and make sure you keep up with everything with the MRC League, and I'll pass it off to Will for what he's got to say.
Yeah, I mean, just taking a look at the tail end of the points here, we got a couple of people who haven't even made their starts yet, in Cameron Rosard and Nick Breeding, and Daniel Rivera just 1 point ahead of him, even though he has made a race so far. So, yeah, I mean, you just got to stay consistent, especially early on in the season. 3 races in, plenty of time to change things, but as of right now, that's how they shake out. Roberto Crown is your points leader, and I'm not too sure if that's going to stay the same after Bristol. We'll see. See how Will Hoyt fares out, as well as everyone else who was up there in that top 10. A lot of moving and shaking, as we've seen after Atlanta. Smaller track at Bristol. Not really too sure what's going to happen there, but until next time, we shall see ya.